Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we got Vaughn Coleman over here. How you doing, Vaughn? It's good to see you back.
Good to be back, man. It's good. It's good. It's really good. This time, unlike last time, I actually have the book in question. So that's nice.
Yeah, you launched Friday. Good for you, man. How was it? You nervous? My stuff.
God.
I'm launching Friday, and I can't sleep. I'm so nervous.
No, I wish I could tell you. I could tell you. Here's what I can tell you. It is much better to tell people that they can buy it than tell people to sign up and then have to know that they're like it's still anxiety, but it's one less level because it's like before I had to tell people, oh, sign up, and they'd be like, oh, and then I can get it. It's like, well, then I have to tell you about it. Well, how would I know? Well, that's why you're signing up. Now it's like one less step of that where it's
right.
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about because I come from a large family, and my family's like, they want to support me. Like, oh, this, oh, my niece is next. Oh, my uncle's making a comic book. So I got them all to sign up for Substack and stuff like that. And
now,
I can't buy it. Yeah, I'm like, no, it's not. What was I signing up for?
Get ready to explain crowdfunding to people.
Right.
And it is, I remember the whole Saturday, I was like, I'm going to be live streaming all day Saturday. No, because the whole day my mom handed me her phone, was like, explain to people how to get your book. And so she was like, I had to teach her how to post on Facebook. I had to, all this stuff. It's a lot. And I still, even earlier today, it's one of the main things you're going to learn is because what people don't realize is you're writing a comic, if you're self-publishing, because I always wondered, why doesn't everyone self-publish if you could just own your ideas? You know why? Because of how much work and money it is what I'm realizing. You're not just sitting there and writing and getting paid. You're sitting there writing, advertising, looking over the pages, being, kind of your own editor in the sense that you don't have office editors. Everyone should hire an editor. I'm firmly of that belief. But your whole production team, advertising, the amount of, I remember one time my cousin followed me on Twitter. He was like, holy crap, why do you tweet so much? I'm like, just literally just like advertising my book, man.
Yeah. It's, I got 7 brothers and sisters. They all got kids and everything, and they're all excited. I got coworkers that are all like, oh, wow, John's making a comic. They're thinking, I'm like, oh, it goes live on Friday. They're thinking that Monday I'm going to come in with a box full of comics and sell them. So I'm explaining to them. I got a card made. I got a card with, a QR code.
Oh, that's a very helpful. That's one big thing. I've been leaving those in comic shops.
So I could physically hand them to my relatives and my coworkers, because you go to fund my comic, you look at, you can just see their eyes go blank, and then they're not gonna do it. But I've been sitting on these cards now for a month because I don't want to give them a card to a site that's not active yet either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it goes live Friday night. So Monday, I'm going to come into work. Here's my card. Use my card. Buy my comic.
Well, that's why I'm definitely overprinting the main cover. The limited covers, I am going to keep campaign exclusives because I want people, if they're like, oh my God, I wish I got that. Well, next time you'll never make that. Like, for example, there was that like nude chick cover with Reenies, and I was like, I really need it. It doesn't tell the stories. And then suddenly I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Reenie, come on. Like, we're homies. You can get it. And she's like, no. You didn't back it. You don't get it. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
I missed the first printing of I just miss things. You know what I mean? As much as I'm interested in all of this, I do miss things. So I didn't know about Fiendish until issue number 2 came out.
Issue 2 is really good.
And I told Reenie when she was on, I was just like, I just avoided your comic because the title Fiendish is an adjective, and it drove me crazy that the title of your book was that. So but issue 2 hooked me in. So I had to contact her in person and buy a copy of first printing number 1 off for her. Like, I thought we were boys. I thought we were buddies.
Yeah.
She's a businesswoman, and I got to respect
it. Yeah, it's business. It's business. She carries a copy around everywhere, and she's like, nope, you don't just get to keep it. You got to, which is good. It's how it should be. I generally want to give stuff to people, but once you start spending your own money, you realize you can't just hand things out to people. You got to, sell the product.
Yes.
And I just put that in my chat. I don't know if it went through.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah. Well, you got a comic out. Yeah. We got to promote. What would Stan Lee do?
I would love to have been able to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a pizzeria years and years ago. I was a part owner of a pizzeria, and my friends always wanted free pizza. And I'm like, dude, I can't. I got to charge you. Do you understand? Do you like the pizza? Do you like coming here? Do you like hanging out? You know, you got to buy the pizza.
Yeah.
I can't just give you a chicken cutlet Parmesan hero because you're my buddy. You know,
Yeah.
I totally respect the hustle. Let's address the chat over here. We got Darren Wagner over here. A bunch of good books dropping out there. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many good books. There's so many good books that I feel bad when I can't physically back everything, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of good book, Rock and Roll Ninja. Oh my God. That was my
good.
favorite. That was excellent. Excellent.
Right. I'm going to have to get that.
He could draw the hell out of a comic. Oh my God. Oh my God. William F. How you doing, William?
What's up, William?
You got Zach Tan. Thank you, Zach Tan. SDA. How you doing? How you doing? And Steve. Hello, Steve. Oh, why didn't it pop up? I hit the wrong button. What did I do? We got Steve. Oh, Zaid. I haven't seen you in a while, Zaid.
Yeah,
good
Phil
to see you.
Diaz. How you doing?
And Ram. Oh, we got.
Oh, thank you, Ram.
Hey, we got Nick. How you doing, Nick? Haven't heard Nick's hard at work doing the art for Crom the Destroyer for RJ from the Fourth Age. Oh my God, can this guy draw? He shows me some of his pencils. Oh my God, in a healthy industry, Nick Axe would be like drawing Conan for the big two, you know, selling 100,000 copies. Mm-hmm. But as we all know, the comic book industry is insane right now. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, how you doing? Good to see Ed Kirby. How you doing? Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm clicking things, and I think the chat's moving fast. I'm sleepy, guys. I've been waking up an hour early to get to work for some overtime. Gotta pay the artists. Artists, I got to get to work early. Turn on all the power at the airport just so I could get the pages. It's hard work making a comic.
Oh my God, is it? It's.
We were talking about that before we went live. You know, I gotta say, so far it's been fun writing scripts, having my friends critique my scripts. You know,
going back, yeah,
and then seeing the art come in. Now my campaign goes live. God willing, it's a success. I got to format everything. I got to talk to the printers. I got to get
that part. I'm dreading.
That's going to be work. Up until now, it's been fun. It's been fun and money, but now it's going to be work.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We got a question, Vaughn. What are the books on your shelves?
Oh, all right. So here we go. We got on my Senryaku is downstairs. I'm gonna put that up here. So we got the Daredevil, all the Frank Miller, Daredevil, and Elektra stuff right here. You got a bunch of Claremont X-Men, Stan Lee, Spider-Man. There is DC stuff, but it's off here, so it probably makes it look like I'm just the Marvel guy. Some Punisher, like this is all the first solo stuff, so it's got the first 10 issues of Baron's Run, Circle of Blood. We got Wolverine stuff like Weapon X, Magipur Knights. Oh, this one's called Magipur Knights with an N, not with a K. Okay. Scorpio Connection, the Frank Miller one. There's Fallen Angels, New Mutants.
At the Jim Steranko, Nick.
Or that was it's based. It's like a sequel to the Steranko stuff. Oh, it's Scorpio Connection is Wolverine and Nick Fury. Scorpio Connection.
Oh, it's like painted, right?
It's Howard Chaykin. Here I'll show you this one.
Okay, I gotta have that. I'm okay. It looks familiar.
Yeah, I had skipped over it. But I do plan on finishing that whole Claremont run. I got some Weapon X here. Hunter Ninja Bear, the first comic I ever worked on. Witchblade, a bunch of Michael Turner stuff. 300. Yeah.
Great comics you got over there. What DC stuff you got? You can't
all right. Batman Hush. Obviously, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One. Gotham City Sirens, actually really like that miniseries. Flashpoint, Flash Rebirth, New Teen Titans, Green Arrow, Longbow Hunters.
Yeah.
I used to read all the Year Ones when I was younger. Well, there were a few that I missed. Oh, Robin Year One, Justice League Year One, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Watchmen, Ronin. Let's see.
We got a question. Did you see the new Deadpool Wolverine trailer?
I did.
Yeah, how could you miss it, right? It's excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
It looks excellent, and I got to say, a lot is riding on this movie. This movie is going to save comic book movies for the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about Ryan Reynolds I just like. He's just likable.
Yeah.
So I don't like the character of Deadpool. I don't like characters that break the fourth wall. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
but I usually don't work.
The first Deadpool movie was excellent. As much as I disliked the character, it was excellent. And Ryan Reynolds, man, is he charismatic as hell. So man, and then what can I say about Hugh Jackman that
he's great.
Else in the world happens. So this is good.
I just hope they do the X-Men well, because I have a feeling that the X-Men are going to be treated like the same thing they have been for a long time, which is like an afterthought. Is my fear. But I guess they're not the central focus. But it would be another example of the X-Men getting screwed over. Hunter Ninja Bear, someone said that was my first ever work.
I got it on my spinner rack right over here. Well, you can't see it. It's on my
first work. I was an editor on that book. That was so fun. Fun. What a way to start my career. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty good, right? Your first work is a 300-page Chuck Dixon book.
Oh my God. I got spoiled early, and then reality after that is very different. Not to say the other books I worked on weren't good. But...
Don't you have enough? You're sitting on a hamster nest of comics. Yes. I got way too many comics that I haven't even read yet.
Oh, me too. My read pile is here.
Like I said earlier, I'm just so sleepy right now that I'm not thinking correctly. I think I have that Nick Fury. That's a graphic novel, or was it a
graphic novel?
Yeah,
it was like a special one. I think that they released hardcover.
Yeah, I think I have it. I got to check.
Matt Fowler's the one that sent that to me.
And Spider-Man: No Way Home was a massive success. It made almost $2 billion. It didn't save the MCU. I think Deadpool and Wolverine will be solid. Okay, that's a good perspective. Because I don't know. The MCU, I was full on gangbusters. I really loved it. To me, the first crack in the armor was the Captain Marvel movie. I don't hate it like everybody else. I just thought it was unnecessary and dull, which is like the
Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
it's not very memorable.
It was dull. That was it. But I didn't like Endgame. I thought Endgame was just flawed. The story,
Endgame is one of those things where, and I think it's true, the last note you end on is the most important. But even then, it's one of those movies where I saw it twice. I loved it. But the more I've thought about it, the more the cracks in the armor start to show. And it's sad because I obviously I want to think it's perfect.
Yeah,
there are a lot of problems in that movie. Like Captain America, I kind of accepted as it goes, but it's like, okay, if Chris Evans wasn't retiring and that was the way they chose to naturally do the character out, is that really the best way you could have gotten rid of Captain America? No, it's not. He wouldn't have stayed, but I'm sorry, he would not have. That's not, Captain America would not do that. He would not just stay behind. The job is never finished.
There's problems. Now he knows that there's space aliens. Yeah. The world just lost half the population. Yeah. There's problems. You're absolutely right.
He wouldn't do that. I don't care.
I didn't see. I thought the second Doctor Strange was terrible. I thought I didn't even see.
I thought it was well directed, but that's about it.
And I liked the Spider-Man multiverse movie only because it was just neat to see all the characters together. Other than that, whatever.
I never saw the second one. I'm just sick of the multiverse in general.
Yes,
I think that's.
I'm tired of the concept of the multiverse. I'm tired. To me, it's the no consequence verse.
Yes.
No
consistency.
Yes.
You could just say because the reason why I hate it is because it's an argument that's used every time they mess up a character. They say it's a different universe, and it's like, is it an adaptation or like? And it just drives me because it's like now the rules are so nebulous you could do anything, and some people say that's great. You're entitled to that opinion. I don't think so because when you change the public perception of Batman is so nebulous. The greatest fictional character of all time, arguably, is so nebulous. It's like if Batman can be anything, then he's nothing.
Right.
That's my thought process. If a character can be like when you're creating a character, when I'm creating a character, this is what they're going to be. And I don't want them to be whatever the hell they want because freedom is good, right? But you take it too far and suddenly there's no identity. And it's a problem.
I got to agree with you. There's going to be a multiverse. So they talk about Robert Downey Jr. coming back. So they're going to take another universe version of Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man come back. And you know what I mean? So his sacrifice meant nothing. Him dying meant nothing. I guarantee you now Scarlet Witch is going to come from another universe, but she's going to be good. Like now the Loki show. I'm supposed to care about Loki. Loki killed more New Yorkers than Osama bin Laden. And I'm supposed to keep them on. Yeah, Loki.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another trend they do. Every villain has to be sympathetic. All of them. All of them.
Yeah.
There's some people that are just evil. Like, you're not going to get a redemption arc for Ted Bundy. All right. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. The idea that every character needs a redemption arc is just insane. Like, even before the new Avatar show, I saw people talking about how this character, I don't know if you ever watched Avatar last year, Brenda, but how Azula was going to get a redemption arc.
No, she's supposed to be batshit crazy.
She is literally like doing the early serial killer stereotypes where she's like torturing ducks. And I'm like, this is a kid who was evil from her childhood. And they're like, well, she's a pampered rich kid who had that. And I'm like, she's that and a psychopath.
Right.
Okay. You can be both. You can have sympathetic qualities and still be evil.
Zuko is the only, he's my favorite character in that. If they mess with Zuko, but I heard he's not even going to be scarred. He's not even going to be burnt.
What?
Yeah, because they don't want to show violence for children. You know, Garfield's Bizarre Adventure says Captain Marvel should have been an Adam Warlock film. I never thought of that, and now that you made me think of it, I'm angry that they didn't do it. They should have done. Oh my god.
Adam Warlock was such a wimp in Guardians 3. I like Guardians 3. I did.
Guardians 3 I saw, yeah. Guardians 3 was good. You're right. I kind of like the one parody, the multi-perverse. Oh no.
I think that like Guardians 3 was good, but Adam Warlock felt like they had already teased him and they were James Gunn, you got to put him in this movie. And James Gunn was like, I don't know what to do with it. He felt like so shoehorned in. He felt like just a minor annoyance more than a character that was meant to be in the film. And it was like, I've never really read anything with Adam Warlock, but my understanding is that he's not someone to just kind of throw in, is my understanding.
You gotta watch. Kelsey Shannon and I are doing we're going over all the Warlock comics. Yeah.
At first I thought you were talking about the New Mutants character.
Oh yeah, see, we talked about that too. There was a Warlock and his father was Magus, and then Adam Warlock had Magus, you know, so I don't want to be spoiler. We'll check it out Friday. We'll do part 2. We'll probably end up doing 3 parts. The multiverse undermines consequences. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't even want to get started. I'll get myself on a rant. It's a fun gimmick, but you should never create your stories around it. Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that now they could just travel to other, you know, the Dr. Banner, they destroyed the Hulk. You know, they made
the Hulk. Oh my God, what they did to the Hulk.
And now he could just use that cosmic machine to just travel to other multiverses. Like he could pinpoint it. So they might as well be gods. Why make movies anymore? Because oops, they messed up. Just whoop. It's like a video game now. Just hit reset, start over again.
It's ridiculous. I mean, there's so many. And one of the things I agree. The multiverse stuff. Like, all right, so the way I would use it if I were to is generally there is a main universe and the multiverse is in relation to it. They're not equal. They're not equal as in like for example, okay, Rachel Summers is from an alternate timeline, right? Well, that timeline, the Days of Future Past timeline, is used to say, hey, this is what would happen if we were here. So that story is really a device to really comment on the present. That's the best, or Rachel Summers is from that. Like, that's the best way, I think, to use a multiverse, or I don't know, alternate timelines. Like,
I don't like alternate timelines. I don't like multiverses. Like, I like other dimensions. In my comics, I have other dimensions, but the laws of physics are slightly different because of the way universes exist in relationship to order and chaos stuff. So there will never be another Vaughn Coleman.
Right.
Even in the next universe over, you might not even recognize that it's Earth because the different laws of physics means different planets formed at different times and whatever. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So, how about we just do 50 different evil Superman characters?
How many? I'm so tired of evil Superman. I didn't know this. Robert Frank is asking, do you guys think about the drama surrounding Sabra being in the next? I didn't know she was going to be in it. I kind of out everything Marvel. Sabra is the Israeli superhero. She debuted in the Contest of Champions, I think, in 1983, which I think was the first Marvel miniseries. It was 3 issues, and it was everything a little kid wanted. All the superheroes got thrown in, and they had to fight, you know, because the elders of the universe the cosmic champion wanted to fight, you know, plot light, but so she was the Israeli superhero, and then there was a Saudi Arabian superhero, the Arabian Night, And to me, in 1983, how old was I? Geez, like I don't know.
Oh, they're going to somehow say that's problematic or something, right?
It was the first time I knew that there was problems, in the Middle East. I didn't know, So I thought it was interesting, but I don't know. Right now, this whole Middle East thing is just everybody's wrong. Let me just put it that way. Everybody's wrong. I only see 6 thumbs up. Come on, Chad. It's John. Give him thumbs up. There we go.
Yeah, give him thumbs up.
Kirby. You got to listen to Kirby because
Kirby's good.
Because he's not just Kirby. He's Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
In the MCU, they do the X-Men properly. Should do the Dark Phoenix saga as the 4th movie. The problem with that is they already did Dark Phoenix. Now, like, how many times are they going to do Spider-Man's origin? How many times? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I did just rewatch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. I'm going to see the second one this week, probably tomorrow. Again, like, obviously I've seen these movies before. Sam Raimi Spider-Man is probably my biggest influence on my comic, actually. It was one of the movies that made me want to dive more into superheroes, and eventually that led me to comics. It's a great movie. It's one of those few superhero movies where I'm like, they got it right. You could tell they actually care about it.
I was so excited when I saw that movie. I was so excited. And I'm so glad that I've been seeing a wave of support for what's her name? The girl that came in with the cake for Peter Parker.
Yeah. What
I can't remember her name. Everybody's like, Pete, because right then and there, I was like, Pete, Daisy girl. Like, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, do you see? She's like, yep, that's Pete's girl. I don't see Mary Jane showing up with cake for you, Pete.
She was so good to Peter. Yeah, she was really good.
She got him a break on the rent. Oh my God, she was practically serving herself up on a plate. Pete,
yeah, I know.
And Mary Jane was like, she was just as good as Jenny in Forrest Gump.
Oh no, she wasn't that. Well, she was in this. Jenny is. I remember our screenwriting professor said this, that Jenny is, if you look at it in terms of objective plot terms, she is the antagonist of the film.
Right.
Gump. She actually is. Like, she's opposes Forrest every time something good is going on in his life. She is the antagonist and the love interest, which is interesting. She's horrible.
William F. says comics is hard to talk about without being ADHD.
Oh, that's true. Well, luckily I am.
Before I met my wife, I went out with this girl, and I think she already knew. We knew each other vaguely, and then we went out on a couple of dates. And she was trying to be nice and knew I was into comics, and she liked Hugh Jackman, like all women do. I mean, the guy's a handsome guy, so she's like, "Oh, I'm interested in Wolverine." And I just remember, like, dude, I don't want to explain Wolverine to a girl who's just being polite. Like, how nerdy can I get? You know what I mean? He was a mutant, but he was not a mutant, and he's from Weapon X, and then he had the claws, but the claws were built in because so I was just like, yeah, he's in the X-Men, he's a mysterious, like, I did it as simple as possible because I didn't want to be this ADHD guy. Well, actually, Wolverine is mutant, but the claws are not mutant, it's bionic.
Yeah. I that was interesting reading that. Going back to that, because it wasn't like I grew up with Wolverine as a history. I grew up with where they had already kind of revealed his backstory. So it was interesting going back and reading the comics and seeing that, these things were established over time, and also seeing that his healing factor like progressively got stronger.
Right.
That he wasn't able to like just heal from like anything, like that he actually.
Right.
I would be like, they got the character wrong. And I'd be like, no, they didn't actually. That was what he was originally like. He was originally.
You commented on Twitter. You saw that on Sundays, 2 Sundays ago, I did the first appearance of Wolverine. And then this Sunday, I did Giant Size X-Men, which is the second appearance of Wolverine.
If I wasn't busy, I was going to hang out with Billy Tucci at a con. Otherwise, I would have.
But they made no mention of him able to heal. They said he had powers, but they didn't explain. He was just a guy with claws.
Yeah, he was like the least developed of the original team.
And Nightcrawler didn't do anything. He was just an acrobat who looked like a demon.
Oh, did he not teleport in the first issue?
Teleport Giant Size X-Men.
Wow. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I always do remember. I remember that opening scene. I was like, when the mob is chasing Nightcrawler, I'm like, why does he dive in to fight? Why doesn't he just teleport away? So I guess it's because it wasn't.
Because it wasn't established what he could do yet.
Okay.
And Garfield Bizarre Adventure. Oh, geez, I remember people wanting Gal Gadot recast Cleopatra because she's Israel. Yeah, well, she's an actress. She's also not Cleopatra.
Yeah, this
drives me so nuts. Like these voice actors now, if you're not Italian, you can't voice an Italian character. Like I don't want to see a Norwegian white guy set in Timbuktu in the 12th century. for obvious reasons, because it's, you know what I mean, and nobody wants to see blackface. So but I don't care if Cleopatra, unless you're gonna, well, Cleopatra,
they got to look like the character is the most important thing to me.
Cleopatra was probably a blonde Greek, you know, because
she was Greek. She was very white. She was a product of lots of incest, wasn't she?
If you read Caesar Augustus's book, the writing, he described her. She was the 6th descendant of Alexander the Great, you know.
Yeah.
So whatever, but she doesn't look like Gal Gadot. She probably looks more like a Heather Sweeney or something. Or I can imagine Heather Sweeney dressed as an Egyptian. I don't know what you're talking about. The Marvels is definitely the best movie. Okay, Marvels is great. I gotta watch it. I didn't see it.
I never saw it.
You know, Hellhound. Hello, kid. Hi guys. Okay.
Yeah, I figured he was joking. Yeah,
we're gonna have some fun. It's like talking about Batman without talking about Catwoman. I don't know. I just read the New 52 Catwoman. She has like superpowers and come back from the dead.
What?
Yeah.
New 52 is that was the time I was first getting into comics where they were doing all this experimental stuff. And I'm like, I'm confused enough as is with this history.
Yeah, I just read this. I'm going through comics that I'm missing in my collection. And this one, it's like the Michelle Pfeiffer. She falls off the building and she gets resurrected by cats.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. When they do stuff like that, like I had the impression that that's Catwoman's actual origin because of the movie. And then I was like, oh, she doesn't have cat powers and 9 lives in the comics. She's just like a cat burglar.
For the most part, I want my comic book characters to be slavishly dedicated to the characters. You know, like if they make this Fantastic Four movie and Ben Grimm doesn't have blue eyes, I'm going to go berserk. You know, he's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, you know?
Yeah.
We got a little question here. Hey, John and Vaughn, if you guys were in charge of a comic book shop, how would you manage and run it?
Well, the thing is, I'd love to just say I know how to run a comic business, but obviously first thing I do would ask people who are more qualified than me for some advice. And then, I mean, I'd, you know, a couple of things, I guess. Making sure that I'm getting comics that people want. I guess I'd love to setting up an online store. I think would be really good for a comic book store. I think it would be really, really beneficial to have that in addition to the actual store. God, I'd love to. There's so much. I mean, I'd love to try and get more indie books in shops because I think a lot of those books would sell well. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. I just think a lot of the covers of these indie books are like, yeah, I think people would buy that off the shelf. You know, that's when I was coming up with the cover for my comic. I wanted something that was on the shelf that would be interesting.
I would like to have it. I hate this word, but it's the only word popping into my head is like a community. Like I would have my comic book store. I would love to have like food, you know, so I don't know how I would do that. So like, it would, you know, have like sandwiches or
just like a place to hang out there too. You know, so it's like really
coffee and whatever, and then you know, get the comics. You get the comics. I would like everybody to have like a card. You scan it, and that's like your pull list, so it's all online. I would get a message board, encourage people to like post and talk about comics. You know, I would like to hear things like, "Hey guys, the Marvels movie is coming out," and call up the movie theater and be like, "How much to get the whole freaking movie theater?" You know, and then everybody at the comic shop just, guys, we're going to the Marvels. You just show this card, you scan it, it's paid for. You know what I mean? And then hopefully everybody's like, this is my shop. This is my shop. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But I don't.
That'd be really cool.
Marvel in DC and be like, guys, you got to come down here and like get some of these people down and you know, sign autographs and things like that. I don't know. But
encourage a sense of like community.
Yeah, as much as I hate that word, like community in the true, not community in the sense that we're going to cancel each other because we didn't like it. And Hellhound, he just threw $5 at us, didn't say anything.
Well, thank you, Hellhound.
We salute you. We salute you. I don't know what else to do. I get so embarrassed when people super chat because, you know, I feel like I should start taking off my shirt or something. Representation should be actual representation, not race swapping. Representation is the silliest concept in the world. You know what I mean? Like you identify with the character. The characters are not supposed to be you. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker doesn't represent anybody. But the thing is, you could identify it. Like, at one point in my life, I identified with Han Solo. Back in college when I was trying to pick up chicks, I was smooth, whatever, not a big fat slob. At one point in my life, I was shy and retiring. I identified with Luke Skywalker. So who represented me? Neither. And both. Yeah. And then there was times when I felt like I was Darth Vader when I was, running a business and firing people. You know what I mean? So what do you want? It's this, but if you ask me who represents me, it's Ben Grimm, the Thing, big, ugly guy, but he's got a heart of gold. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't look like me. That whole representation thing, it's narcissism projected upon the world.
Yeah, look, I have my character that looks a lot like me, and that started because I had come up with it when I was a little kid, and the character obviously has similarities, but you don't have to have that. It's not like I can't relate to any other characters. Batman I relate to a lot. I think of I relate to different characters for different reasons. I mean, I relate to Nightcrawler. Newsflash, none of us look like Nightcrawler. I relate to Kitty Pryde. I mean, you don't have to be a teenage Jewish girl to be relating to. I related to Kitty Pryde more than a lot of the male characters.
Right, because at the time I was 14 years old when she joined the group. She felt like an outsider. She wasn't, she had body issues, and I was a chubby 14-year-old kid. You know what I mean? And she was shy. And comic book people, let's face it, it's a solo activity. I think the stereotype is, and there's some truth to the stereotype, that we get into comic books because, it's an introvert's hobby. You know what I mean? So yeah, representation is such a silly concept that we got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of it. I remember when it started, I was like, "This is bad. This is bad representation." It's fictional characters. If everybody could see something about Sherlock Holmes that they like, and everybody could see something about, I don't know, Kermit the Frog that they like, but
or
that doesn't
New Mutants. Yeah, New Mutants you can relate to. I mean, I found Cyborg could be relatable in New Teen Titans. I found, I think there's a lot of characters that you can relate to for a lot of different reasons. And there are characters that will, there are characters that could look similar to me that I won't like. It really just, it's an individual basis.
I have to jump to this comment first. Relatability, not representation. Absolutely, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing the words that were stumbling out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like what you just said about Cyborg. Cyborg was my favorite member of the New Teen Titans. Why? Because this was, maybe this is telling more about myself than I care to admit. But at the time, I didn't feel like I fit in. Mm-hmm. I was this chubby kid in junior high school collecting comics, and then Cyborg was this guy who's like, I can't talk to girls. I'm shy. Nobody likes me.
He was the guy that his power, everyone else's powers were cool, and his were a curse because his body was destroyed because he felt like he had more power before because he was a football player. And I've never been an athlete in my life. I suck at sports.
Oh, believe it or not, neither have I.
But I still related to Cyborg, which again, the guy has a completely different life than me. And yet it didn't matter. Not just in terms of he doesn't share my skin color, which feels like the least important thing, but just because
Ben Grimm doesn't share my skin color. I'm not a Rocky Craigie.
Yeah. But then it's like that issue, for me to get personal for a sec, that issue where he loses his dad. I'm like, man, I'm tearing up because it's like that was relatable. And that has nothing to do with skin color. Like the deepest, they're making the most surface level things the most important.
Right.
Why do you think people relate to anime so much? Newsflash, I'm not Japanese.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
James Earl was the worst superhero movie. You're gonna get mad. Superman Returns was just dull. The problem with Superman was just dull, but I didn't like Man of Steel. They fundamentally got Superman wrong, and I haven't seen a DC movie since. I figured if DC movies couldn't get Superman right, then there's no reason to continue after that. So I saw Wonder Woman because my friends all wanted to see it, but I actually thought that was excellent. Wonder Woman.
I haven't. I thought it was okay until the third act.
The CGI in the end was just terrible, but it was good. Good night, Vaughn and John. The books look fantastic. Thank you. Vaughn's book. Vaughn's book looks like looks like it came out in Marvel in the 80s, which is the aesthetic that I'm
going for. Yeah. So that's a high praise. Should we pull it up or?
Yeah. Bring it up. Hi, Vaughn. I'm in Champaign, Illinois for work. It was shopping. Oh,
Oh, I just saw Marcus recently.
Yeah, Marcus has been traveling. Yeah, you just saw him in New York, right?
What was it? Not yes. It feels like yesterday. 2 days ago, we were hanging out with Tucci. It was fun.
I wanted to go so bad. He sprung it at me at the last minute, and I couldn't change my plans. Newsflash: I'm not white, but I can identify with Peter Parker because he's a young person going through hardships. Yes, that's these. So it's just so limiting to say like I can't identify with, I don't know, Phil Moskowitz because Phil Moskowitz is Polish. I'm just gonna say, so therefore he's not from. So why bother reading these books? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so stupid. It's the attributes that you assign them. Like, somebody just told me recently in a chat, and I'm not gonna name names, that they're making up a superhero character, and it's the most powerful superhero in the world. They could beat my character. They could beat your character.
I've had pitches like that. My friend told me, "Oh, this guy's like Superman but stronger." I'm like, "What's his personality?"
Well, that's boring.
That's boring. No, I'm like, dude, I got to be honest, pal. I love you to death. That's like the most boring pitch you could have possibly given me.
Right. That's boring. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I'm doing with my character, the Patriarch, is he presents himself as more powerful than he is. He's actually a lot weaker than he is. Because that's interesting, you know.
I did was I'm sorry.
Good, yeah.
With my book, my character actually, the more I was writing it, because it was like he was going to start off with his makeshift costume and get his other one, and the more I was writing it, I was almost like frustrated. I was like, oh well, the character logically doesn't make sense for him to be that good of a superhero. Looks like it's going to take a lot of issues to get there, and I thought, okay, so look at all the issues I have that are in this transition phase of the character. That frustration led me to start writing better stories. And I decided to extend that path to heroism. What I'm having is that he's got the powers, he's got the heart, but he hasn't earned the right to be a superhero yet, but he's going to try. It's like he's trying to be that heroic ideal. And in a lot of age of most postmodernism, where they're like, "Oh, that ideal is a lie," I want to say no. That there is nobility in trying to reach that ideal. So, Phenomenova is the name of the team that he's going to join. He's going to join. Thank you. He's going to join the next generation of superheroes. But his name is Galvanite. Is the name as a superhero, and he's going to he wants to, like, I gave him a name that's better. You look at him, Galvanite, it's a powerful name, and then you look at him, he's a kid in a makeshift costume with a hoodie and a helmet, right? Because he has ideals and ideas for what it means to be a hero that he hasn't aspired to yet, and so he's going to try. I actually found that by almost wearing shoes that are too big and forcing myself to kind of grow into it, that it actually was a better approach to superheroes without taking out the ideals and actually felt reinforcing them. I always say this is in an age of deconstruction, that this is a reconstruction and reconstitution of the superhero genre. I want it to, reflect that. So you have this character, Miles Hanksley. So it's set 20 years after World War III and follows the teenage son of a war hero who is struck by lightning while holding a mysterious crystal, and he finds himself awakening with lightning powers and super speed. And he decides to use those powers to try and intervene at a heist at a nuclear reactor, but he finds himself in way over his head when he attempts to encounter this villain who is totally out of his league. And there's going to be way more to it than that. I really wanted to make it for the first issue. I was inspired by Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I wanted it to be, because it is going to become a team book, right? Like New Mutants, New Teen Titans, Uncanny X-Men. But I wanted it to start with our main hero's origin to set him on the path to get to that team. And even then, when he meets the other members, they're all better than him because they've put in the work. Like what he's doing now, they've done before. And so it's like, I found that despite him having super speed, making it where he always has to catch up and he thinks he just has to run fast and get there. And it's like, no, the key to getting there is you have to slow down and work on it so you can eventually run fast. And he will be trained by one of the heroes that fought during World War III, but I won't spoil who. But he will have a mentor. He's going to basically become a hero. And there's this mini print comes free with everyone who backs this Fund My Comic campaign. The 6x9 mini print comes free with everyone's book. And if we hit 15,000 backers, this will also become a mini print because everyone loved this art. Yeah, everyone loved this art. And I decided if we get 15,000 backers, I actually had people vote, and it was I got like 20 signups, I think, the day I posted this, maybe more. This art.
Yeah, the art looks great.
Yeah, they killed it. It was one of those things they did above and beyond what I was expecting. So Rini did this cover. It's not even colored yet. It will be colored. Then Jules, my friend Jules who also did the 24-hour trading card, did this cover. It was in my script. There was a part where he stands before a reactor, and I had actually kind of subconsciously thought of Final Fantasy VII, which is one of my favorite games. And I was like, why am I not doing a variant cover for that? The new game's coming out. It's a really cool cover. So this blonde kid with flowing hair standing before a futuristic reactor. That's the cover of Final Fantasy VII. And she's a fan of it. So I said, can we draw this as a cover? And it worked. And it just so happened that all the covers happen in chronological order, the way they came.
Cool.
So it's like, boom, he gets the powers. Boom, now he's in the costume. Now he goes to the reactor. Now he's in the reactor. It just so happened to work out that way. And
would it be spoiling if I asked you what's the name of this bad guy?
Yeah, no, I can tell you his name is Dark Cloud. So I wanted him. Okay. So he's got yellow lightning. He's uses all this high tech. He's way more powerful. Totally overpowered. Rini totally got him being overpowered. I think the best covers generally you'll have the hero losing generally, unless it's
it creates tension.
And that's what's needed. Because spoiler alert, this character, he's not exactly equipped for victory. You could see him again. She going down here nails this character that he's like beat up, but he's still going to keep trying. I do have an art contest, and the winner of the art, all the details are on the campaign. The winner of the art contest will get their work printed in the book.
Cool.
So,
see, that's the kind of thing we'd do if we had a comic book store. Big fan art and hang it up in the store,
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of great stuff on here. It's a really, I'm very proud of this. I have a bunch of variant covers.
I think the name Galvanite is pretty clever. I'm very particular about superhero names. To me, that would make or break whether or not I back a comic.
Okay,
there's a couple of comics just like, I just don't like that superhero name. Like,
well, I went through multiple
focus of the character. So Galvanite, it's clever,
Thank you.
I'm like what Geeks Do Network is busting chops. Don't forget, Vaughn, you got to consult me on how electricity works.
I would love to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because he's goofing on. I kind of razzed Chuck Dixon for Alpha Core, the way the electricity works.
All right, so I'll definitely need that. I actually would love to, because I obviously I don't really, I have like a very surface level understanding of how lightning works, but I think it's like the coolest, and obviously there's fantastical components, right? Like, he punches someone in the face at super speed. I'm not gonna do the thing where they like rip their skin off or whatever. Like that's, but like, because I like a level of fun and a level of whatever. But yeah, I mean, that stuff's important. Galvanite was a name I had to come up with because actually I was on their show Creative Block, Rini's show Creative Block, and I remember I had said, I'm gonna name the character. I had initially come up with Lord Lightning. I mean, no, it was Lightning Lad when I was little. Then I found out that was taken, heartbroken. Yeah. Then Lightning, but that was too weak. Then it was Lord Lightning, and I was debating not even revealing the character's name in issue 1, and then I reveal it, and immediately everyone on panel laughs when I said Lord Lightning, and so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm changing that. And so I did, but I have a reference in the book, which is good. It's constructive criticism, but I was like, right. It was like, man, there's no coming back from that. All right, new name. And I went into like a same process.
But you came up with a better name, if you ask me.
Yeah, same with Phenomenova. Phenomenova took a bit to grow on me, but now I love it.
Lord Lightning.
Yeah, I had Living Legends, and now it's Phenomenova, because like we talked about last time. But yeah, I would go into, for both of those, I went into like a manic state where I went downstairs and I would just write down a bunch of related words to what I was going for and mix and match and make them. And then finally, Galvanite, I settled on.
Blame it on the body with its magic. I guess that's a joke.
Yeah. TC was probably in the chat when so there is a reference in the script to when he's going through rejected superhero names. You will see in the final comic book there is a crossed out Lord Lightning as a reference to that. So
yeah, I got so mad. I have a couple of major characters I had to change names.
Oh, changing names, I think it's harder than coming up with names because you're attached to it.
Especially because most of my characters have been met NPCs in my role-playing game for 20 years.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I got character sheets with their names written down, and then you find out that I waited too long and other people took the name, so I got to check. But at the same time, Galvanite is a better name than Lord Lightning.
It is.
It's a clever name.
But it was like hard because I kept pigeonholing myself because it was like I liked the word lightning has like a certain quality to it, and letting that go was tough. But sometimes you have to let go.
Night implies heroism.
Yeah, or like the alliteration of Living Legends. Like Living Legends was a tough one to let go because that's such a cool name. But I did, and I'm glad I did. Phenomenova. Because Living Legends works because you could literally, it could be a story title, it could be a team title, it could just be the general theme.
Yeah, and there's a role-playing game called Living Legends.
That's why I changed it. Is because apparently he's very Sue happy is what I hear.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that guy.
Yeah. Someone in chat actually have messaged me like, yeah, you might want to change it because this guy's very Sue happy. And I was
like, he the same person who shall be nameless gave me a piece of art to use for my forum because I was the only person keeping this guy's game in popular public eye, and then threatened to sue me for using the art that he gave me for free.
Wow.
So rather than take it down, I made it bigger, and I said, get a lawyer.
Wow. That's nuts.
Oh, snap. Do you do tabletop role playing? Yes, I do. My if I may take a minute from Vaughn.
Go ahead.
I play a game called Villains and Vigilantes. It came out in like 1982. It was, had work by Bill Willingham. That's how I knew Bill Willingham. It was some of his first work. Been a fan ever since. And me and my friends, it's a superhero Dungeons & Dragons. You roll 3d6 for all your attributes. And we've been playing for 20, 30 years. And then when I wanted to make up my comic, I didn't feel I had the right to use their characters. So I used all the NPCs and made the stories about them. And then my friends are telling me, oh man, you're not using my characters. My characters won't be in your comic. So they will make appearances. They're, I just got the blessing from my friend Mike.
Oh, cool.
So, make a long story short, I reached out to Scott Bizarre, the Order of Villains and Vigilantes. He said, be my guest. You could use stats. You could do, whatever you want. So I'm going to do stretch goal cards. It's
nice.
The art and the coloring is already done. And then on the back, you flip it over. It's going to have their role-playing stats. So yes, Bizarre Adventure. I'm a big-time role-playing game. There's a couple of videos on my channel of me and my friends playing superhero role-playing games. And I would like to do more in the future. And I jokingly say, but it's the truth, that let's dream. We're dreaming big. We're comic book people. If I make it to $100,000, I'm flying Vaughn, Reenie, all these people out here to my house, and he's going to make up Galvanite, and we're going to play a role.
Hell yeah. I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
So I'm excited.
Oh yeah. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
My wife just gave me the look like, oh no. And people come into the house.
You can go to a hotel.
She said, go to a hotel. So you launched on Friday, and it was funny because I was going to launch last Friday.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you announced it first, and I don't want to compete with Phenomenova. This looks too good. So I pushed it back a week. Another week of promotion, another week for my stomach to hurt.
Yeah, that's what that was what happened. I apologize for that, but it was I just moved it like twice to get to that point. I was like, I can't do this again. But no, an extra week of promotion is good. It's always good. It'll bring your own chips. Yeah.
The joking rule that we have is Funyuns. Funyuns is the ultimate role-playing food. So bring your own Funyuns. I'll make a bowl of chili. Vaughn, do you role play at all?
I haven't really gotten into that.
Because I know Reenie, who's a friend of yours, I know she's big into role playing games.
Yeah, she was
on my role playing stream, and she was describing her character and getting animated. She was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, she's super into that. I that's one of the nerdy things I haven't gotten into. I'm into a lot of stuff.
It's surprisingly fun. We got 91 people in the chat, guys. Let me know if you guys role play. It's so much fun. And if you do role play, put the game that you actually play, because I'm actually toying with the idea if my comic is a hit of writing up my own rules for my own superhero role playing game, because as much as I love V&V, it's a product of the past, and it's limited, and I house ruled it so much it might as well be its own game.
Comic book ones asked, yeah, that's a great question, man. So I had Rainey was one of the later ones to do that, but even before that, I'd have even just for a couple pages, I had Arvid Nelson took a look at like one page. Let's see who else has read it. I've had a lot of people, even just not even just of the script, but outside of it, but of the script itself. So obviously, my editors have done it. Jules, my friend Jules, who's one of my artists, she read the script and gave some notes. Rainey gave me some notes. So it's like 4 people. Before that, when I was in college, I've had my screenwriting buddies, and they'd go through and rip me apart and give me new notes. So that's like gotta be 6 people there. I would have tons of people give me notes. I'd have at Phenom Comics back when I was pitching it back there. My boss would give me some notes. I had a lot of people give me notes. At a certain point, I had to go, okay, I can't keep just having people give me.
Right. There's a point where you could drive yourself crazy.
There's a point where I had to just go, okay, how long do I want to put this off? Because there will always be more but like I did keep going because I was like, I got to wait for every professional in order to give me notes. I'm like, no, I don't. At a certain point, I do need to just go. But a lot of people give me notes.
Yes.
I'm probably forgetting some, and after the stream ends, I'll be like, no, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, I do that too. I forget like basic information, you know.
But like even when I launched my campaign,
we were talking about.
Mike Barron gives very good notes, even without I just sent him my campaign. He goes, yeah, you need to make it your plot more concise on the campaign page. Like he'll be or like one time he was like, what's your story about? And in film school, they drill it into your head, the log line. He goes, I don't want a log line. I want just tell me what it's about. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he sends me this blog post that he wrote, and I'm like, okay, totally different from what I did. So I took a step back and I thought, and I rewrote. He goes, there you go. See, now I'm interested in your story. And it's like being able to have this network of creators is just so amazing. It really is.
Yes.
Or I'll message people. Oh, Allie, my buddy Allie, she's giving me some notes. Even just when I'm casually asking questions like, oh, Phil, what do you think of this line of dialogue or this name or this page? You know, like little things we'll just casually throw each other bones, and it's fun. So little notes from a lot of people. You know, I'd have ask people questions on company name. What do you think of this? Blah, blah, blah. Like all kinds of stuff. Tons of stuff I get feedback on.
Okay. Vaughn, I scheduled an 8:00 talk with Logan Effling from Firewatch. Do you want to come on that and join us?
What's that about?
His comic, Firewatch.
Oh, that sounds cool. Oh, should I could duck out. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no, come. We'll talk, more the merrier.
All right, cool.
On your channel, give Logan a little bit of exposure too, and we'll continue talking about this.
All right, sounds good.
You know, I just doing as many talks as I can to get my message out and to help everybody out, especially since you're so guys, we got 95 people. I'm just gonna shut this down. I'm gonna reload up on the same channel with Logan Effling for Firewatch, and Vaughn will be here too. I'll send you the invite for that also. So just give me 3 minutes. Okay.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
a lot, everybody. And I hope to see you in 5 minutes.
See you.
We'll continue this.